Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Well, my name is Shamika.
And good morning, my name is Naomi. Welcome to another edition of Beyond the Well. We do want to share, for those of you who have not yet liked our Facebook page, we encourage you to do so. We want this conversation to keep going throughout the week. We really love to hear your thoughts on today's topic. So if you haven't had a chance yet, go out and like our Facebook page.
Yes, and speaking of like, Naomi, today we have another great topic.
We do. And I shared this topic in advance with a couple people, and their response was, ooh, yeah, that's going to be a good one. But our topic today is two wrongs don't make a right. Is it wrong to dislike someone?
See? You know, it's hard. It's hard. I know that God tells us that we should love everyone, but it's tough. You know, and what I found is that as I'm trying to grow in Christ and I'm trying to strengthen my walk with God, it's like that one person, you know, us Christians, we are polite with it, that we don't care for. We see all the time. And it was happening to me, and I was like, God, is this your way of testing me? You know, every time I turned around, they were there, and I kept saying, oh my gosh, how am I going to deal with this? But what I've learned is that you have to pray about it, and you have to pray for that person. Because even though that God commands us to love everyone, when it comes to, you know, disliking someone, we have to pray for that person.
We do. So we know that the Bible is clear that God's will for us is to love everyone with a godly love. You know, Luke 6:26, 6:27 says to love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who mistreat you. So I think the question that we're asking is, how is it possible to love someone without even liking them?
Yes, and it's hard. It's hard. But let's define the word like. Webster defines like as to feel an attraction, tenderness, or affection for someone. We say, I like you because. You know, and Naomi, I'm going through premarital counseling. And so one of the things that Pastor has told us, he was like, you will always love your spouse, but sometimes you may not like them. You know, so now I understand. I understand that you can love.
There's a lot of nods going on right now.
You may not like him. So, you know, I mean, that was good advice from Pastor, because I was thinking to myself, like, all my life, you know, it's not going to be one day that I'm not going to just not like that person. But like is a feeling. You know, agape love is an action. So we have to remember that. You know, it's you won't like everything, just like you don't like every food, just like you don't like every color, but you are supposed to have that love towards your brother so that you don't want anything bad or negative to happen to them.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you made that distinction. So that agape love really is a sacrificial love, and it's not based on our feelings. So even when others are doing wrong, even when we dislike them, we're still called to love them with that sacrificial love. But let me ask you this, Shamika. Here's a personal question. I'm sure you won't mind answering. So have you ever had to pray for someone that has deliberately mistreated you?
All the time. You know, it's tough. It's tough. And just to give you an example, you know, if you've ever done something nice for someone, you know, and you didn't do it because you wanted something in return, but then you found out that person, you know, began to talk bad about you, you know, try to say different things about you. But I've learned that God has his way of straightening everything out. Because what has happened is that, you know, it gets back to you. And, you know, several people were like, you know, so-and-so said such and such. But I said, that doesn't sound like her. That's not her. And, you know, I said, you know, let me hold my peace and let God fight this battle for me. And I continue, like you said, to pray for that person and pray that God changes them and change the situation actually and teach me to love in spite of.
Absolutely. So it sounds like you are a great example of that agape love that God has called us to exhibit to everyone. You know, the Bible says we must pray for everyone the way that Jesus prayed for them. Even when Jesus was on the cross, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So we're not free to discount anyone based on our feelings toward them.
Yes, but Naomi, I hope you didn't think you were going to be able to skate out of here without me asking you. So, what have you done, or how do you respond when there's someone that you don't care for?
No, absolutely. And I agree with what you said. It requires a lot of growth on our part. It requires us to spend time with God in His Word and in prayer because He has to take control. We can't love anyone, especially someone that we dislike, without His strength
Yes.
in us.
Yes.
But what I found was by praying for someone that has deliberately mistreated me, it's about praying for them to come to know Jesus, for them to know the peace of God. And on the other side of that comes freedom on my part. You know what I mean? So we were freed from anxiety. We're freed from hurt. We're freed from the hurt that occurred in the past. We're freed from anxiety about the future. So by praying for people that mistreat us, it comes the peace and the freedom of God.
Yes. Yes. And agape love says, I love you, like you said, in spite of the things about you that I may not like. We don't have to feel guilty about not liking everyone because it's okay. But we are commanded to love others. So remember that regardless of how you feel about a person, pray for that person. But understand that we have to display the same love that God displayed when He was on the cross for us. To show that agape love. To show within our actions, but not only our actions, our words. You know, that we are Christians and that we are Christ-like. And that despite of what you may do or what you may say, you know, we love you.
Absolutely. And just keep in mind, too, that we are all made in God's image.
Yes.
So God has given us a spirit to discern those people that may be less than trustworthy, right? He doesn't desire for us to put ourselves in harm's way or to get hurt. So there may be people that we just can't have in our lives, but we still call it to love them, to pray for them, because that's what Jesus did for us. He loved us. He forgave us when we were yet sinners.
Yes.
So that's what we have to do for others.
Yes. So, Naomi, we're about out of time, but I know that you have Pastor's sermon and his topic.
We do. We want to ask everyone to go ahead and prepare by turning to Isaiah chapter 48, verses 9 through 11. And our sermon for today is For His Name's Sake.
So remember to go beyond your community, go beyond your comfort zone.
And beyond the well.